Hey everybody, so I've gotten a lot of questions on process and what does the optimal process look like in TrueTracts, and so I'm going to walk you through a version of that. Just keep in mind, we know there's other factors that contribute to the workflow and the process, like can you get comps in the report prior to going out to the inspection, or do you not know what you're getting into and you have to wait for that. So keep that in mind, but let's go through a more general process. So number one is you're going to start a new session in TrueTracts. This is a 1-minute process. You're entering in the address, the basic home features, you're rating quality and condition if you can. Then you're moving to the next tab, market definition. This is a 2 to 3 minute process. You're going to draw the subject submarket. You're going to apply filters. You're going to iterate on that subject submarket as needed as the heat map's created and gives you more information. And then you're going to move to market analysis. And in market analysis, you're going to review all of that data that you've just gathered. And you're going to look at sale price and supply and days on market. And you're going to make trend decisions. We default to best guess estimate for those, but you guys are in control to change those. And then optional, you guys can always add additional commentary to the commentary we are writing for you. Then you're going to move to comp selection. So you're going to move off of the platform. You're going to go to your MLS. And you're going to go pick your comps. Then you're going to export that CSV file and you're going to import it back in, or you're going to export it out of your MLS. You're going to import it into Spark. You're going to do your normal Spark process, and then you're going to export that into TrueTracts. Then in TrueTracts, you're going to be taken to the grid cleanup tab. That's where you're going to finalize the grid. You're going to modify basement information and porch patio deck, whatever you weren't able to clean in Spark. You're going to finalize all that data, and then you're going to go to feature adjustments. At this point, you can do the inspection. You can really do it at any point. We recommend trying to get as far along in the TrueTracts workflow as possible prior to the inspection, especially if you need to drive those comps. So by completing the market definition tab, that's going to unlock the heat map. And that's a helpful tool for helping you pick comps. And then if you can pick comps, that's going to allow you to get those original comp photos while you're out at the inspection, saving you time and creating kind of some efficiencies there. Note, so if you're using Total for mobile, there's a question around like, well, what do I do? How do I get the comps into Total so that I can upload those to Total for mobile, my inspection app? Because I like it in Total for mobile, because that way it shows the comps on a map. I can tap the comp, I can take the picture, and it just associates that picture with that comp. I don't have to match those up later. If you want to do that process, which is a good process, after you pick your comps, just type those addresses into Total. All you have to do is type the street address in most cases. If all your comps are in the same city, you're just going to type 123 Main Street, hit tab to go to the next comp. It's going to fill in the city state zip for you. And so this is just a 1-minute process. Typically, you guys are going to pick 6 to 9 comps to start with. And so to enter 6 to 9 addresses, that's a 1-minute process. But that will allow those to map for you when you upload to Total for mobile. So that's the best process there. Now, you have gotten your comps. You have imported those into TrueTracts. You have cleaned those up. And now we're going to go to feature adjustments. So you're going to analyze each of the methods for each feature. You're going to choose the methods that you want to rely on. Based on those methods and what they indicate, you're going to enter a selected adjustment. Then any of the features that are in addition to our core features we support, you can add those, porch patio deck, ADU, all that stuff here with the built-in features. Or you can add any custom features that aren't supported, and you can add the title and any commentary on how you supported that adjustment, what that adjustment amount was. You can type any additional commentary you want on any of those fields, and then you're going to go to reconciliation. Now, on reconciliation, note, after your inspection, you want to make sure that you update the subject details. Remember, when you entered everything in up here on step 1, Public Records or MLS may have said the subject was 2,212 square feet. But you go out and measure, and you know what? It's 2,245 square feet. Well, you want to update that here because you want to make sure on the reconciliation tab your subject information is correct, because when you export, all that's going to go into your report, including the calculated adjustments. And if you don't have the subject info right, it's calculating an adjustment that won't match up. So make sure you update your subject information in TrueTracts after you do the inspection. Then you're going to review the grid and adjust the adjusted sale prices. You're going to refine any of the adjustments with sensitivity. You could also pull up the feature adjustment modal right there in reconciliation. You're going to review the similarity ratings. You can make any necessary changes. Remember, we're going to apply those for you, but you can modify those if you want. Then you're going to click the supported value range to open up the reconciliation dashboard. That's where you're going to review the bell curve and the weightings and all that. You're going to enter in your final opinion of value, so you're going to reconcile that using that bell curve. Then you're going to add any custom reconciliation commentary to explain why you chose the value you did. And so remember, the bell curve is considering your comps, your weightings, any adjustments you've made, the adjusted sale prices. But it's not considering any qualitative factors that you didn't make an adjustment for. And so that's where you're going to kind of consider that. And now this is an important note. So prior to exporting into total, you want to lock in the order of your comps and TrueTracts first. So get those set up the way you want. The ability to move your comps is coming this week. So this will be in by the time most of you guys even watch this video, but it'll be in by the end of the week. So you're going to make sure that you get those comps in the right order that you want them in. And then you want to adjust the order of your comps in total to match. So imagine that your comp 1 in total, when you originally typed those in, was 123 Main Street, but your comp 1 in TrueTracts is 245 Main Street. Well, when you export those out of total out of TrueTracts into total, those aren't going to match, and you're going to have an address and information for a property that's going to have the wrong photo. And so you just want to match up TrueTracts to total before hitting export. That way you don't have to move those original comp photos around. Now, if you don't have original comp photos, you can use our MLS photos that we can import automatically into your report for you. But this will ensure that your original comp photos that are already in total line up correctly with the right addresses. Then you're going to go to the Export tab. On the Export tab, you're going to review all the docs that are going to be included in your report, in your work file. You're going to want to reposition the heat map so it looks the way you want. Some people like a really far out zoom. Some people like more zoomed in. You're going to choose whether or not you want the MLS photos to come in. You're going to select the appropriate time range for your market analysis charts. So whatever you left that time range on in market analysis, whether it was 1 year or 5 years, that's what we're going to export. But if you forgot and you were looking at 5 years, you went, I only want to show the client the 1 year trend, then you can simply click that button right there in the export. It'll change that for you. And then you're going to export, and you're going to merge everything into total and do that there. And so overall, your time in TrueTracts, this is about a 20-minute process. If we add up the midpoint of all of these times, now of course I'm not adding anything in for the inspection. That is a completely, depending on your market and how far you got to drive and all that. I'm also not adding in any time for comp selection. You're doing that on your MLS. Some people pull comps in 10 minutes, some people take it 30 minutes, and sometimes it's property specific. So this is around a 20-minute TrueTracts process, and I think it works really well. I know there's been some confusion. I understand why. I think these notes here are things that I want you guys to pay attention to and think through how that works. But if you guys have any questions about this, please let me know, and we will talk to you soon.